Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to be going over how to remove the headlights on the 10th gen Honda Civics. So that's 2016 through 2021. Mine's a sedan sport, so mine's going to look just a little bit different as far as what headlight design there is. And mine has the black pieces instead of some of the chrome pieces on the front. But it should be the same process for all of the 10th gen Civics. So I'm going to be going over how to remove them, and I'm going to be attempting to tint them. Now, I've had a couple tries at tinting them in the past. It didn't go so well, but I also haven't removed them yet, and so I'm hoping that by removing them, it'll be a little bit easier to tint them. But either way, I'll be going over the removal and installation process of the headlights, and hopefully the tint turns out well this time. So let's get started. Alright guys, so right across here, we've got a whole array of clips. So over here, I've got my flathead screwdriver. I'm going to be using this to remove the clips. So right across here, we've got 4 clips that are right above the headlight, or I'm sorry, there's 5. I'm going to start with this one here. I just kind of pry the screwdriver up in here, like that, and that one comes out just like that. These other ones are a little trickier. They sit a little bit closer. So I just kind of dig in. It's got a rubber gasket under it, so try not to tear that up. You can just pry around the edges and it comes up like that. So I'll go ahead and get these up here. There's 2. Three and 4. Now there's 3 different kinds of clips here, and these are all the different kinds. We've got these ones that only pop out a little bit. We've got these here that sit flush to what they're mounting to. We've got these here that stick out a lot. So these are the 3 different kinds of clips. Now these ones that stick out a lot are going to be used all across this middle piece and here in the middle. The ones that sit flush are used in the 3 middle clip spots over the headlight, and the ones that only pop out a little bit are going to be on the very end of the headlight. So I'm going to go ahead, we've got these clips all the way across here, and they all remove the same way, so I'll go ahead and get those out and get on to the next part. Alright, so now that I've got all the clips out, this piece here, this comes up, and I'll go ahead and just set it right here, and this rubber gasket here, oh, look at that, I missed one. I'll go ahead and pull that up. Right, there it goes. This rubber gasket here can come up. And then next, what we've got is over here on the headlights, there's a couple of clip holes, and I'll show you those in a second. Alright, so here's the headlight I was talking about, and here's the clip holes right there. So we'll take our screwdriver and stick it in there. And that's pushing down the clips that hold onto the trim piece. So there goes one, and there goes the other. So now you can see this whole piece here is loose, and I'll go ahead and do that on the other side. Alright, so now that I've got the clips undone here, so you can see that comes up, what we're doing now is we're taking out this screw here and this screw here so that we can get the front side of the bumper off, and we're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so I've got those 2 screws out on both sides, so what we're going for now is we can grab here. There's some clips on the bumper we're trying to undo. Let's see. There goes a couple of them. And there's the rest of them right there. See, that whole piece there went ahead and snapped out. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so for the sake of recording, I jacked it up a little bit. But you can kind of see where the bumper sets. There's a screw there and clips that follows all the way across under that silver part, and we need to get all of those out. Now you don't have to jack it up to get those out. I only jacked it up to make it easier to get it out. So I'll go ahead and pull all those out and get on to the next part. Alright, so I went ahead and I got all of the little clips and screws and stuff out, and just to show you, there is these little screws here, and these are 5mm Allen screws, and then there is a bunch of these taller clips I was showing you up top. These come out pretty easy with a flathead screwdriver, and there's a few of these screws here, and they come out with a Phillips screwdriver. So once you get all those out, it's pretty basic from here on. The whole bumper goes ahead and pulls off. There's a couple of clips, but it's just the kind of stuff you pull on. And so I'll see if I can get it all recorded here on camera, me pulling it off. Alright, so there's one thing I'd forgotten to mention is the fog lights. So the fog lights are plugged in, and you'll have to unplug those as you pull it off. I've got the LED ones in there, they're not quite so sensitive as being clean, and so I was able just to twist them out, and it made it pretty easy as I was pulling it off. So now we're ready to take out the headlight. So we've got a 10mm here, 10mm here, we've got one here, and then there's one hiding way back in there. Alright, so I got to it and remembered where it was. It is right here on the side. That one is also holding it, and it is also 10mm, so I'll get that one out too. It is the same process on both sides, so I'll go ahead and get them both pulled out and show you what's next. Alright, so I've got all of these screws out. So now there's a couple little things that feel like it's holding it in, but you can just pull on it and they give pretty easily. So now there is all of the clips for the bulbs here on the back. They're kind of tight, and so that's why I'm having issues getting this out. So it's going to be hard to record this. I'll try and get it set up, but there's 4 clips on the back for the different light bulbs and things, and a couple of these here, a couple of these clips that hold wiring, and those are going to want to come off too. So I'll get on to that next part. Alright, so I've got the headlight out. I'll go over the plugs real quick. There's 4 different plugs. Now you can see I've got that there for my side markers I did those in a different video if you want to check that out. And then there's these 2 wire clips here that hold the wires in place, and those clip onto the back of the headlight housing. They pull off going back, and I just kind of twist them up and over, and they came off like that. So I've got the driver's side out. I'm going to go ahead and pull the passenger out now. Alright guys, so for those of you watching who are replacing your headlights and not just tinting them like I am, you're going to want to transfer a couple of pieces over. Now I don't know if your new ones are going to come with these, they may or they may not. There's these here, and those are going to hold the brow on the front in place, so you're going to want to take those out. It's these little Phillips screws. And then on the bottom, you've got some more 10mm. You go ahead and pull those out. That whole bottom black piece will come off, and you can transfer it over to the new part. Alright guys, so for this next part, I'm going to go ahead and get going on tinting these. So we're going to start again with the rubbing alcohol and a clean towel. A couple of tools we're going to need for this is I've got my heat gun, and if you have a squeegee or something like that for tinting, that's good too. I'm just going to use my hand. So I'll go ahead and get started cleaning this. Alright, so I went ahead and cut this. I've got these 2 strips. I cut the length of the headlight, and it was wide enough that I should be able to do both headlights with the one length I cut, because I cut it in half width or height ways. So you can kind of see I've got what I need here and a little bit extra. So I'll start. They have a protective film on this. Alright guys, so I've got the whole thing tinted. I went ahead and I tinted it all the way to the edge so I can cut it and the cut not be visible, and then also to have less risk of it peeling. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll get a knife and I'm going to run it kind of along that crease on the edge, give myself a nice clean look on the front. Note to self, 5-second rule does not apply to microfiber towels. Alright guys, so I've got both of my lights tinted now. I'm going to go ahead and get all the screws and everything put back in to get the bumper and headlights and everything put back together. So I'm going to start with the screws that I had taken out of the headlight. Now, I had the two silver ones that were on top, silver one there on the side. I had the black one there and the black one there. So I'll go ahead and get all this put in. They are all 10 millimeters, and I'll do that on both sides since they are the same. Alright, so now that I've got the headlights bolted in, I'll go ahead and move on to the bumper. So I've got the bumper right here. And remember, so there's the two screws that go on the inner wheel well there. There's the Allen bolts and all of the different clips. Now all the clips were the taller clips that I pointed out in the beginning of the video. And then of course there's all the different things that are going to snap in towards the top. So I'll go ahead and get the bumper lined up and snapped in. Now you do have to push here on the sides once you have the whole thing lined up and in place, because there is like 4 or 5 clips there on the side. You kind of see them there on the bumper, right along there. All those clips have to go in too. So I'll go ahead and get the bumper lined up and put back on. Again, I've got the car jacked up to make it easier to get to the bottom and to see. You don't have to. You can do this without jacking the car up. So just so you guys know, in case you don't have a jack, ramps, or anything like that. Alright guys, so I've got all of the clips put in, my tinted headlights put in, and that is right about the end of this video. So I'll go ahead and do a quick close-up, and that's going to be all. Alright guys, and here's just a quick walkover of how it turned out. Now it's really, really nice. It's a little hard to tell in the camera how dented it is. This one's actually, it's pretty dark. I was surprised how dark it turned out. If you get up really close, you can kind of see there's a couple small wrinkles in here. It's definitely not perfect, and that's 100% just user error on my part. But overall, it turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. I think it looks great, and I'm going to give the taillights a try. Now, I don't know if anyone's familiar with how the taillights in these Honda Civics are. They are very difficultly shaped as far as tinting goes. It would be a total nightmare to try and tint those, but you know what? Why not give it a try since I've got the wrap already? But maybe I'll do that in another video. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. I'm really happy with how the tints turned out. I think it turned out really, really great. Of course, there's those little wrinkles and things that'll always just kind of be there as far as being new to tinting and vinyl wrapping and things. So hopefully I'll get a little bit better at that as time goes on. So I'll go ahead and give the links to the vinyl wrap I used. What I used, it's the Vvivid Smoke tint. I'll give the link to their rolls of tint. I think it was a 1x5 sheet, so it wasn't that much. It was about $10. And then the Jets Vinyl precuts, really, really good quality. I was really happy with how they were. It's just due to user error, it didn't quite work out the first time. So go ahead and give Jets Vinyl a look too. I'll give the link to them down below like I did in the last video. As far as the tools I used, I just had a Harbor Freight heat gun. They're pretty inexpensive, and they are a must as far as tinting and vinyl wrapping and things like that go. Can't get by without a heat gun. So go ahead and give that a look too. I'll give the links to everything down below, so please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.